All right. Well, hello everybody, and welcome to Comics News Today. I am Chester T. Busby III, and I am very happy to have you all here with us. And we're going to be getting into that news and the topics of the day real quickly. But of course, we have a few things we want to cover first. Please keep in mind all the links we have down below, particularly to Fan Speak over on Facebook, which is growing every day. We're very happy about that. Also, keeping in mind the links to contact me on Facebook and Twitter. We'd love to have you guys over here joining us on this panel and hearing your opinion live, icon to icon, as it were. And also, if you want to be on the fan edition of Drawn and Quartered, we'd love to have you contact us, and I will get you where you need to be so you can get involved with that. That's a really fun thing that's going on there. We would like to see more and more of these great artists throughout the community come and be involved. Of course, we have links to other things as well, including the Tales from Beyond the Gate, which is a really cool project, and we want you to go check that out. But other than that, the thing that helps us the most is you hitting that share button and letting everybody know what's going on. Because as we know, YouTube sucks, and they don't like anybody that doesn't preach their words. Or to be honest with you, I think everything's screwed up. But that's the way it is. And Beowulf's here, and he says, "Hail, Bugbear." Well, hail to you as well, sir. But of course, first thing I'd like to do before we jump into the news is come over and say hello to the panel that we have here today, and we got a big one. So let's start off with the chairman of the board himself, Mr. DeWolf. How you doing, dude?
Who's this? It's a new phone.
This is a new phone. Oh, this is Chester. Hello.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Hey, Chester.
Hi.
Boy, it's been a slow day for me. I've never really just gotten jazzed up and going today. A lot of people would call it a Monday. I don't know, but it doesn't matter because we have fun here with all of our friends and
True.
family.
Yeah, no, it's a Tuesday for me, so I'm already into the week. My feet are well wet, and things are moving along. But this is actually one of my, well, oddly enough, Tuesday is one of my quieter days, because the rest of the days of my week are pretty crazy. But so this is a little more relaxed day for me. I only have about I don't know, 8 or 9 hours involved, I guess. So that's pretty nice. But
Mhm.
adding, and that's counting the YouTube stuff I'm doing now. So it's nice, dude.
Oh my.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh
yeah.
huh.
Well, that is good, right? Because some of my other days are a lot worse because I've added this YouTube to it. But it is what it is. Better to stay active, right? Idle hands and all. So.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Yep. All right, guys, moving down the row here, we got, of course, joining us the creator of Joe King. He has his project on Indiegogo, which, of course, you can find through IndieCron. IndieCron being a sponsor of this channel, we really appreciate everything they do, and of course, it's a great resource for you guys to jump onto and to find all the things you need. But how you doing, George?
Greetings, everybody. Great to be here. Quick announcement. I have three variant covers on Joe King,
Hmm.
Martina Markova, Cecil, and Nasser.
Cake Nasser.
Kick Nasser.
So if you want to kick Nasser, and buy my book. Buy my book.
There you go. Well, actually, you guys might not know this, but on the Tales from Beyond the Gate book, we do have a stretch goal in there, and that's there's a couple of them. One is to have art from Booster, which I don't know why you'd want that, but hey, it's a stretch goal. And the other one, of course, is to kick Nasser, who's actually on the project. But
What, the
nevertheless, thank you
actual
very much
goal?
for joining us, George. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it is awesome. And of course, we're also joined by Pixel Trader himself. Whoa, he deigns his presence upon us. Oh, what's up, Pixel?
Oh, not much, dude. It's been an interesting day, but I'm taking a little bit of time to relax and hang out with you guys.
Ah, sweet, man. Always happy to have you.
Yeah, good to be
Yeah,
here.
you got some announcements coming up. You said on Edwin's channel, right?
Yeah, Edwin's gonna have a show later this evening. I think it's 9 Pacific, but I mean, he always throws out hours, but never says what time zone, so I have no clue. So we'll see what happens there. I'm hoping it's not 9 Hawaiian, otherwise we're all gonna be in bed. But yeah, there's some things that are coming up. A lot of big changes, but there's some really fun and interesting stuff that's about to happen, and I think a lot of people will be happy, and I think a lot of creators are going to be happy. So I'm hoping people will get on board with what we're going to be doing here.
Yeah, no, I actually think some of the things you're doing are really cool, which we can't talk about. Waiting for the Edwin. The Edwin, the voice,
I
the
know,
voice of reason, is going to be speaking with his beautiful hair and his
man.
elegantness.
it's hard too because Fanspeak is my home. And I came over here. This is actually the first stream that I really came on, and
Sure.
we got this
You
thing going.
you helped me build this, dude.
Exactly. So I'm sitting here going, man, I've got all this great news, and I can't say anything because he's the big cheese right now. So
Yeah, it's
we're
okay,
gonna,
dude.
yeah.
We over here at Fanspeak are very happy to be in our groove, man. No problem whatsoever. And of course, we have a lot of people who always come over and support us, which is absolutely awesome. We got over here in the chat. We got Beowulf. We got Paul. We got the Willie Mammoth has shown himself. We have Vailnit, of course, and Vailnit says Meep. Well, Meep to you too. And we got Roger Heller in here as well. And of course, I know there are others as that are watching. And guys, keep in mind, hit that share button for us. Yeah, let's get more people in here because YouTube's notification doesn't work. I'm sure your notification for this show will come up in about 45 minutes or so. So, you can help us out with that. We have to work around YouTube. It's crazy. But of course, I'm very happy to have you here with us, Pixel, and we're going to have some fun goofing on some pop culture news as usual, which is what we do. And of course, the person who gathers our news and is in charge of, the Fanspeak website and the discords and all that kind of stuff. Of course, he's invaluable to us, the Denali Lama. How you doing today, man?
Aloha, folks. Well, I'm glad to be here talking with my friends about craziness of news, craziness of stuff, craziness of life. But
Well,
we get a laugh at the end of the day, which makes the world go round.
oh yeah, that's what it's all about, having some fun and goofing on the silliness of people.
Yeah.
Because the funny thing about people, they never fail to deliver. Isn't it awesome?
It's predictable.
Man, it's very
It's
predictable.
almost like they've been engineered to do so.
Yeah, almost. We got P Money in here. Wow, it's been a while since I've seen you, P Money. Hey, dude. We also got the Night Pope in here, and mine came on time. Cool. I'm glad. Maybe notifications are working today, because they're up and down, and I don't think it's anything focused. I know a lot of people say, "Oh, YouTube's against me." I don't think so. I just think their algorithms are just messed up. I mean, there are some people who they focus on. It's true, but not us, right? Although on our TFT that we did, Area 51 was right in the front of my title. They did drop a automatic algorithmic link to the Wikipedia page, which of course you all know Wikipedia is pure propaganda. Do not forget that. So they are
You're
watching.
biased.
They are biased, dude. More
Now
than
you
Well,
are.
it's probably because you use a lot of Wikipedia information and they were sourcing the credit. But for other things, yes, they are watching automatic
Oh no, I didn't use that. That's
robots.
not why they did that. The reason they did that was because it popped up, and they don't want conspiracy theories. They're like on a thing against conspiracy theories, which is unfortunate timing because our TFT Tinfoil Talk on Sundays is all about conspiracy theories. But of course, we're having fun with it. We're just talking and debating and joking and enjoying the conversation because conspiracy theories are great fun to talk about, right? It's entertaining, but they're on this crusade against the fake news, which is funny because you don't get much more fake news than Google, right? But nevertheless, enough politic. Let's move on to politic. So let me come over here and share with the panel. Of course, we need them to be aware of what we're talking about, guys. But we do have a interesting little thing. We've been following this all along, of course, and just talking about all the people that are being attached to this project. And go ahead, Denali. Introduce us to this, man.
All right. Shan Xin joins Dennis Villeneuve Dune. And speaking of that, he's going to be playing Dr. Wellington Yui. So he's going to be Dr. Yui for this upcoming reboot. And on top of that, they actually started filming today. So
that's cool.
that's actually been the trend today. That right, the new Dune is coming up.
Well, hey, they're going to make sure they got one of every color. So, good on them. And Shang here is, I don't know, have any clue at all who he is. It says, "Oh, he's a Crouching Tiger actor." No idea, no clue, no clue. But cool. Hopefully, he's a good actor. We've been seeing a lot of very interesting actors attached to this cast. They even kind of go over a few of them here. They have like a Charlemagne. They have a
Who-
Rebecca Ferguson and Oscar
Yeah.
Isaacs, which we don't need. Josh Brolin, case by
Josh
case.
Brolin
Yeah, well,
Yep.
he can be good. Stellan
and Stellan
Skarsgård,
Skarsgård.
Dave Batista, Zendaya.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, you want some credibility? Don't be throwing that girl in there. Dave Dashmalashin, whatever that means. Charlotte Rampling, Jason Momoa. Yeah, we need that guy because he's an amazing actor, and Javier Bardem.
You know what's crazy? They have Jason as Duncan, Idaho.
Yeah.
Duncan, Idaho. I just don't see it. I just don't see it.
Well, we'll see because as we know, it really comes down to the director. If you have a really good director, they can make anything happen, right? Jason Momoa is a very charismatic guy. He's not the greatest actor, but he's charismatic. And if you got a good director on him, maybe they'll pull something off. I don't see anyone in this list, unless someone would like to, correct me. But I don't see anybody in this list who's really, really strong actor, though. But more than likely, what we're going to see is the yay action, Transformers, Michael Bay, Dune is what we're going to see probably.
Well, Dune originally was wacky. I'm not sure if you
It is
remember
wacky.
seeing the original version. It's wacky. There's weird stuff going on, floating fat men, and the like. So
yeah.
I think a cast like this with all versions of the spectrum, both of types of people, types of acting,
Mhm.
and everything. I think it kind of fits in with Dune myself.
It could. We have to wait and see. I mean, I'm excited to see what happens with it for sure. And of course, you do know in the original we were going to get, but they decided not to put it in. But we were going to get a naked Sting with his peen out. We were we didn't. It's a tragedy.
You
Yeah.
call it what you want. I'll call it what I want.
Whatever. I don't know this guy offhand, but cool. These days they got to make sure they have their diversity quota. They're all about the diversity quotas these days, and sometimes it makes sense, sometimes it doesn't. I would say it depends on how they work it into the story. But whatever. We'll keep an eye on this continually going forward, and we'll hopefully see a good movie. You never know. I mean, we there's no. I don't have really a positive or negative take right now. For right now, it's just wait and see. Anybody have any opinions on this? You want to give a comment, Pixel, on the upcoming Dune?
I'm gonna tick a lot of people off and say I don't think I've ever completed watching Dune, and I've never read Dune.
Oh wow. Well, reading Dune is an adventure because that is a very very large book series, and
Yeah.
that's an endeavor. As far as the movie goes, I would suggest you try to sit down and watch it. It is an experience, but it is long and it is trudging
Yeah.
in a way.
I seem to recall it being on TV at some point, or like HBO or something like that. I don't recall, but I remember seeing pieces of it over time, but I've never
Yeah.
seen the whole thing.
It usually popped up, and they did the director cut, the 3-hour long cut on Sci-Fi, and then they did a 2-minute series with William Hurt as Leto, and then they had James McAvoy as Leto II
Right.
in Children of Dune.
Hmm.
And you see a couple other rising and not so rising stars in that miniseries TV show.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I love Nick W's comment here. He says Zendaya is a rumor. I don't, first of all, what's up with that pretentious name? First of all, girl. Second of all, she is like zero talent. I don't understand why she's there, but we see some people get in, and it's not male or female thing, but we do see some people get into movies, and you're like, why do they get that job? How did they get that job? It's kind of like the girl that does Scarlet Witch in the Marvel movies. I mean, she seems like a nice enough girl, but she's like
She's an
literally
Olsen.
zero charisma.
She's an Olsen.
Okay, all right, fine. But she has
Do
no
you recall
charisma,
Full
dude.
House? Do you recall Full House?
I do my best to ignore its existence, but yeah, okay.
Do you remember the Breakaway Star, which is the little baby?
Yes, I know the two little slutty girls. Yes, I understand. Yeah, yeah.
Well,
My
that's
goodness,
her
you're
older
right.
sister. Yeah,
Oh wow.
You got
Okay.
it, dude.
Prejudice.
Yes, I
Yeah,
know.
You
Come on,
got
dude.
it, dude.
You got it, dude. Yeah, well, they were cute in that show. That
Nice
show was
pickle.
so sickeningly hokey. It broke my brain to even want to think about it being on. I hated seeing it scheduled. It was so horrible. I hated that
Oh,
show.
come on, Chester, cut it
Cut
out.
it out.
No,
yeah,
God, there he goes again. Cut it. God, so God, gosh. I hate Full House,
I
man.
did the hand motions.
Yeah, I bet
Close
you
the
did. I
door.
bet you did, dude.
Another world.
Oh goodness. Nick W says a David Lynch movie is strange and unusual. You don't say. Well, that's true. David Lynch is that way. The sci-fi
yeah, but
miniseries was more true to the book than the movie. That is true, Paul. That is
yeah,
right. Yeah. But
and yeah, this was even strange for his take because he has disavowed the movie ever since. So it's one of the few that it's too strange for him as well. So that says a lot.
yeah. Oh, and then Combo Bob was saying Chani was actually described as more elfin with fiery red hair. Zendaya doesn't fit Chani. No, of course not. They don't care, dude. They have to make sure they have their racial quotas because it's all about the politic and the quota. They don't care anything whatsoever about the storytelling, and this is why things suck so much these days. Combo Bob says Bob Saget said the show almost broke him. Yeah, it's oh god, it's painful. Paul Hassett says, "Chester, have mercy," and I'm sure that's a quote from the show. I hate
Yeah.
you guys. I hate you guys. Nick W. Full House. How about Lori Laughlin? You guys. God, moving on. Ugh, ugh.
Well, she's on
Ugh.
in the news for bribing her and her husband, bribing college official to allow her
Oh yeah,
daughter
that's right.
into that prestige. So bad for all those things saying, "Oh, you need to let minorities in." You do it so much that you have to bribe people to let your kids in that
Oh,
can't
jeez.
make it.
Talk about
From
bribery though. Have you seen
Eh,
that whole news about that whole we talked about a little bit and we were like be patient, right? But that whole news
Yeah,
with Disney buying tickets at places just to pump up the numbers for Captain Marvel. At first I was like, nah, it can't be true, dude. There's people really pushing that, and there's a lot of evidence coming out now, man. It looks like
yeah,
almost across the board there are 25 tickets purchased at every showing across the country, and no one showed up. I mean, it's perfectly 25. So someone bought something. Boy, imagine
yeah.
if that
Okay,
story pops, dude.
wow.
but does that matter?
It
Does that matter if I produce a product and then I buy my own product? Do I?
dude, you know right well that's bad business. You know right well that'll kill Disney
Well,
if
of
that
course it's
comes out.
bad business, right? I mean, and of course they're using it as a promotional thing and a marketing thing. I there's nothing. Okay. It just seems dirty. It seems dirty,
Yeah. Yeah.
but other than that, it's just what it is.
Well, because I think because we understand that if you do that, like say in the stock market, that is actually illegal, right? Whereas this wouldn't be
Right.
illegal. I mean, they could do whatever they want. It's just
Actually,
Right.
it could be
consumer
legal
confidence, right?
because no, it could be legal if they were using that to keep confidence for the buyout of 20th Century Fox, which is
Oh,
one
I
of the
see.
reasons why they kept quiet about James Gunn, who they said was reportedly hired months ago, and now they release it because they got the okay to move forward with the merger.
But
So
I'm not saying this is the truth, guys. I'm just saying that I didn't expect that story to pick up, and it is picking up. That's all I'm saying.
yeah,
I'm not. Making accusations because that's serious business. You don't make that accusation unless you have proof. I mean, it just is.
right.
It is what it is. But let's see here. I saw one I thought was interesting.
Oh, and just jumping back on the whole um, college scandal, I can't eat. It's surprising that I saw William Macy on that indictment as well, which is crazy.
Oh, really? Well, that's interesting.
Yeah,
Well, Dale Menzel.
Interesting.
Interesting, yes.
Go.
Mailnit says Zendaya is Mary Jane, so she fits Chani perfectly. Yeah, it's interesting. They're using Zendaya to replace the redheads. It's racism.
Yep.
It's redhead racism. Okay, I'm going to start a campaign.
Oh yeah.
GoFundMe. I'm going to
So
do it.
so Beowulf and Nick W and Velnet are all putting out comments saying that it does matter that they've bought up these tickets, which is funny because right, I said does it matter based upon I guess more of a legalese, and this is actually the true reason why it does matter, and that's
Yeah,
the fans and the people
yeah,
and the
yeah.
consumers that are out here saying it does matter to them because
Mhm.
what do? They turn around and they don't buy tickets and you lose your fandom and you lose credibility. That's why it actually truly matters. And I can't say I baited them into doing that, but I'm glad they responded as such.
Yeah, well, it is consumer confidence. It's not illegal. I don't think there's anything even closely illegal about it. But anyway, we're not going to talk about that because we have no evidence on that. I noticed that it's starting to pick up, and I'm a bit surprised. But anyway, let's move on with this story here. Oh, look, too bad Booster's not here. Our most favorite Ezra Miller is in the news again, of course.
Flash shocker: Ezra Miller writing script in bid to stay on as star. As was reported a couple of weeks ago, they hire Grant Morrison to write the Flash script. So he's so
Well,
it's Miller time.
Grant Morrison, I'm happy to see him on board writing things because now Grant actually is not necessarily a bad mix for Ezra because Grant, we've mentioned this before. Grant Morrison is a wild, crazy, progressive liberal. I mean, he is, but he knows how to write his stories as a story. And do it right. Grant's really good at that, and we all appreciate that and love his stories. But Ezra, of course, is a mad, wild progressive as well, and he's also an absolute flaming lunatic. But who we love him for that, by the way. But yeah, I don't know about Ezra being able to stay in for Flash. It's just no one wants it. Nobody wants it. I mean, too
Yeah.
bad for him, really. I think I thought he was kind of cutish. It's not Barry Allen, but that's the problem with being a comic book fan or a fan of anything. When you know it and then you see it and it's not done right, it irks you, right? But I don't think he did that bad a job. What do you guys think?
Well, I was against Ezra being the Flash since they announced him back long time ago because I didn't feel like he was the right fit for that character.
Well, yeah.
And how Josh Whedon and Zack Snyder portrayed him in those films still reinforced that, my opinion on that he was miscast as the Flash.
Well, if they had gone more with a Wally West type of Flash, I think it would have been better. But the problem with Barry Allen, he's a little bit older. He's a scientist. He's a bit more stoic, I guess. Whereas, Ezra's a goofy, weird guy. And Wally's always goofing and joking. It might have been a better. What do you think, DeWolf, about Ezra as Wally West instead of, the consummate Flash?
Oh, I'm not sure about that particular point, but as far as Ezra and what he's trying to do here, I think it's interesting because it's across the board. You're seeing news agencies, media, movies. We just got through not talking about something, and comic book artists in prose and the like, all out there trying to do something to still keep a hold of power, consumers, money, being relevant, right? This is happening across the board everywhere, and people kind of don't know where to go and what to do. And here Ezra's trying to do something different and get into like this part of it, right? Writing the script. I want to help. I'm gonna get in there, so get me involved. And I think there's a lot of people doing that, scrambling around, and we're gonna see what's gonna be happening across large areas of the media in
Well,
the
he's
few
eager,
short
right?
years.
That's a good thing, right?
Eager usually is a good thing. It also shows something that's endemic in the system, right? Because if you're trying that hard, that means that people aren't paying attention. There's something else that people are paying attention to.
Yeah.
And dare I say we're not paying attention, we just want it. We want normal, big, heroic kind of things, and we've lost it, and we're looking for it, and that's where, of course, where we've got the comics movement going on today, as well as other news agencies and media that are going straight away from the norm and going straight to internet and streaming concepts.
No, well, let me ask
Much like
let me ask a question to you guys in general, though, because I mean, we've kind of adopted Ezra Miller as our pet madman, but to be fair, I mean, he's an excessively flamboyant person. I'm not joking. I've told you guys this before. At the Tokyo Comic Con, he was literally prancing down the halls. I'm not joking, right?
yeah.
Like a My Little Pony fan. But when he was doing the Flash, though, he was acting. He was portraying a character, but people really, really, really hate his Flash. And I'm just, why do you think it is? Because I thought it was all right. The whole movie sucked. I mean, but I didn't really have a particular problem with him over anyone else. I mean, Ben Affleck's the one that irks me the most.
Because the portrayal was more of a teenager
Yeah.
having the powers of Flash, and no one in the audience associates anything regarding that with the Flash brand at all.
Well, that's true.
The
He is a
TV
married
Flash,
man and stuff. That's true,
yeah.
man.
I mean, TV Flash, I thought worked. I thought Grant was actually a really good Flash. He fit the character well.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
played it well.
Yeah, no, but he was young too, though, so that was different too.
He was young too, and I see that's the thing is I would have actually liked him better in the role. I think he would have been able to portray the character better in the role, and I don't think it would have received as much hate. I think people were, because they came out so soon, and they had already had this build up. The TV show was doing great. I mean, Arrow was doing really good as well. So that just all that kind of hype around that guy playing that character, and then you shift it when you go to the movie. It just it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It'd be like if you had well, it's kind of a little bit different for Batman because we've gone through so many Batman characters. But let's say that you introduced Arrow. It's going to be the same thing. You're going to be so used to seeing that character on a weekly basis and played by one specific person. And if somebody else comes in and plays that role, it's not going to go right.
Patrick Stewart is Peter Parker as Spider-Man.
You know what they should have done?
Yeah.
They should have brought in they should have brought in Martian Manhunter. I think that would have been a better choice. Introduce something new and do it really well. But that whole movie was an absolute disaster anyway. It's just Jason Momoa is not Aquaman. He just isn't. And they could have brought him in as a villain threat in another movie as Lobo, and it would have probably been fun. But that's a whole debacle. But anyway, there is a lot of hate toward Ezra, and I'm not exactly sure why. Because I mean, he's a weirdo. He is. He does the whole goat thing, which is bizarre. But I don't know. I just think he gets more hate than he really deserves. I kind of feel. I guess I've gone soft on Ezra Miller. Darn. Oh, well.
You're just a caring guy, Chester.
It is what it is. Come over here to chat. Beowulf says, "Poor redheads. First they lost their souls. Now they are losing their roles." Hey, that rhymed. Sweet. Beowulf continues, "I hated him as Flash. And what was with the Flash suit?" Yeah, there's a lot of hate for it. Thundaro says, "Barry Allen is a grown man with a family and a lot of maturity." There you go. Combo Bob says, "The absolute worst thing about the jail movie, and he thinks we want a movie with this clown." You really think he was the worst part of it? I could name a few other bad things, but okay, all right. Nick W says Morrison's Flash was probably his weakest run. I agree with that. He did write a spot on Wally West in JLA though. Beowulf says, "Am I the only one who thinks Ezra Miller could play Grant Morrison? Just shave his head." Oh no!
Actually, you're probably right. You'd
be
perfect for it.
He would. Cumbug Bob says Miller's Barry Allen was such a goofball. Well, okay. Night Pope says, but Martian Manhunter is already on Supergirl. Oh, sorry.
Wow, you made us. I felt a little bit blood coming up.
Yeah, I know. We don't want to get into that because talk about a missed opportunity. Anyway, moving on.
Right. Almost lost our voice there.
Mm-hmm.
The box office. Captain Marvel dominates overseas with 119 million, crosses the 760 million worldwide, onto its way to the billion. Which again continues on the trend that Um, I'm glad that it's succeeding because it's Marvel, but I hate how the websites are presenting. It's despise trolls, despise the mob tactic of trying to bring this to do. She triumphs regardless,
Hmm.
kind of deal.
Yep.
That narrative is like
Oh yeah.
nobody's doing that,
Oh, and
you
you
know.
think her ego was bad before? Watch out,
Oh
baby.
boy,
Here it
oh
comes.
boy.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, it is doing really well. I don't think it's going to hit the billion. I don't think this one will, but that's all right. It's going to be somewhere in the middle of successful Marvel movies, so there's nothing wrong with that. And it seems like it's a
Yeah,
middling movie as well, so it kind of suits all around, doesn't it?
yeah. Which again,
Yep, yep.
talking about the earlier stuff, about the stories about Disney buying tickets to pump it up.
Mm,
If it comes out true, then this breaks the credibility
it does.
for this movie and for the websites doing it, because now you can't really trust the box office number to bring success if you know it's like, hey, this is a movie that isn't doing good, or and people are not watching, but still making this much money. Then you start suspecting, is the studio pumping it up or not?
Well,
But again, it's one of those things that
well,
um,
if you watch the movie, listening to, I
yeah,
haven't seen it, but if you watch the movies, listen to reviewers, it sounds like, I mean, yes, there absolutely is propaganda in the movie, but it is kind of subtle, even more subtle than, say, Wakanda, right? So
Yeah.
it's you can watch it. It just depends. I mean, some people absolutely revile this movie, but most people are putting it around a five,
yeah.
they're saying there's some really good stuff. I mean, Sam Jackson is some people are calling this one of his best Marvel performances yet. So and I want to see that. I want to see Sam Jackson kicking it. Jude, I think it's Jude Law, right? Yeah, Jude
Yeah,
Yeah.
Law does really well. It's not Skarsgård. Mendelsohn, I
Ben
think,
Mendelsohn.
is
Yeah,
does a really good job. There are some good things in the movie, and most of the reviewers from across the board, they're all saying the only time that really kind of suffers was when she's on screen. When she's not, it's not a bad movie at all. So I mean, I think it's
but
worth watching.
that
Whoa, whoa, whoa. There is problems with the writing.
There are,
There,
there
there
are.
there's some big issues with the writing, and there's some big issues with the plot and the plot holes. It goes back to Thor: The Dark World,
Mm,
which I just rewatched yesterday,
oof.
and I really got into just watching it for what it was, and it was really fun and really interesting after I had to kind of put some things away because of the huge looming plot holes.
Yeah.
And I think that's where this comes into play, because we have this idea that if she's out there and she's doing things, where is she and what is she going to do in the future? There's so much trepidation as to what is going to be coming soon with Endgame, right? And Captain Marvel, and that's the problem, because we still want the heroes that we know and love in order to be involved, just like in the Dark World, because there was this big problem, convergence of different realms, and Thor was the only one there with the help of a couple of mighty sticks that was made by a scientist.
Hmm.
So that to me, that was one of the biggest problems, is the plot holes in the writing.
Yeah.
And I think, boy, I want I want this so badly, to where we can look back on this later and say maybe Brie was a little bit more. Of course, okay, hold on. I have to correct myself. Maybe Captain Marvel was a little bit more of a scapegoat for the concepts of plot and writing. And of course, I had to correct myself because Brie kind of deserves it because of her own
Yeah.
shoes in her mouth.
Well, that's
Yeah,
the real problem. If she just shut her damn mouth, there wouldn't be
yeah.
any controversy at all. But it would just been a bland, middling Marvel movie. But the thing is unfortunate about Thor, because Thor is one of my favorite characters. But the actually Thor: The Dark World is the best of the Thors. Sadly, that is the truth. And they really didn't do a good job with Thor. I don't know exactly why they had trouble portraying him because I like Chris Hemsworth. I think he's good as Thor.
Yeah.
He's really great in the Avenger movies. I love the fact that Anthony Hopkins was Odin. I mean, come on, dude. I liked all the things around it. It just wasn't presented right. Loki's cool. It's missing something. It's just lacking something, you know?
It needed a Wong to sling ring himself in and go toe to toe with some of the dark elves running around on the street, and that would have basically fixed a lot of the issues.
Oh, there you go. Cool. Uh, all
Well,
right.
the problem is that they got like Shakespearean actors and
Mhm.
and people who didn't know what Thor is, so they didn't get Thor, and they try to make him into this really serious character, where there's an innate goofiness to Thor that it kind of get lost in the mix. So that's why they brought uh, uh, Watiti to kind of get that James Gunn factor,
Mhm.
to get that quirkiness
Yeah.
into it, that cosmic Kirby quirkiness. That was, I think, you're
What
missing.
ho, Denali? How dost thou say that?
Well,
We
before
didn't get that right in the old Thor. All of that language was all in there, and I think there was that balance. Do they do it? Do they not do it? And I think where they're going, who knows? Right,
It-
right.
right. It's not. No. They had that Shakespearean speak in the beginning, but they
Yeah.
were doing it serious instead of No, it's kind of funny. It's supposed to be funny.
It's Kenneth
Kind
Ra,
of. Yeah.
um,
So
I do want to ask Pixel and George, you guys have any comment on this before I move on?
My impression is that it's too bad with Captain Marvel that they did not do the hero's journey. If they
Yeah.
actually just had a little bit of it in there, it would have been a great movie. It would really have been a great movie. In this case, they just drop everything on her. She's powerful. They want to cancel out everything that is wonderful about Captain America: First Avenger, in favor of this single character that is. The acting is terrible on her. Everybody else around her is terrific. The story is without a hero's journey, and I don't feel any threat. I've watched every
Well,
Marvel movie.
she's a Mary Sue, dude. Of course, there's no
Yeah,
threat.
she is a Mary
right,
Sue,
yeah.
a very 100% of it. But the problem is that on top of being a Mary Sue, I don't feel any threat in the story at all. I don't feel the anxiety, thinking what's going to happen next.
Well,
It's like it's not there,
well, I watched a
and
really
there's no
good
love
review
story
on
either.
this from
No love
Midnight's
story
Edge.
either.
Have you ever seen Midnight's Edge, George? You ever watched
Yes,
that show? Well, they
yes.
had I liked his take on it, and what he said was that in the beginning of the movie she's supposed to be wooden, and she does that really well because she is wooden. But later, when she's supposed to, come out of her shell and become something, and I guess there's a couple of very emotional scenes where she needed to actually do acting, it just fell, negatively flat. Because she has zero acting skill, and this is really, really what dropped the ball with her performance. And it comes right down to casting, right? To be fair, Marvel usually does really good casting. Actually, most of their casting choices have been excellent, but they've failed on a few.
Yeah,
I like, for me, the Scarlet Witch girl is definitely a failure. I
but
think
you're wrong.
well, okay. I think the dude they had to play Black Panther was a bit of a failed casting. Um, they failed a few times, but overall, I think they've done a really good job. And if we grade Marvel Studios overall, I give them an A for sure. I think they've done a really good job. Anyway, let me catch up in the chat real quick before I move on. You got something to say, Pixel?
No, I was just thinking about. I was looking at chat, and people are still debating Ragnarok. I know your feelings on Ragnarok. I love it. I've watched it so many times.
Yeah, I hate
It's
that movie.
crazy.
Yeah, I hate it.
Uh,
You know why though? You know the thing that really just really ticks me off about that movie. Not just the odd humor and the goofiness and the fact that they wanted to make it Guardians of the Galaxy, which shows desperation. The thing I hated most about that movie was Valkyrie, actually. And it's
No.
not the fact that she's not the original, Nordic Valkyrie. I care less about that. The problem with it is you portrayed her to us as being a villain. She is an evil person, right? And then you
Oh yeah.
want to switch the movie over, and all of a sudden she's forgiven and a hero. No, no. She should have been the villain that Thor was fighting at the end, and then the little trick to deal with Hela, because you can't handle Hela. She's well, well beyond you. Okay, I get it. So they should have had the big baddie fight between Thor and Valkyrie. That would have been cool because she is a villain. How many people have gone to their death because of her actions, right? But yet you want to make
Yeah.
her a good guy? No, screw that.
That's true.
Good
She was
point.
not noble. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
That's the
not.
first
yeah.
time I've heard that. Yeah.
That makes
So
sense.
now for me, it was Hulk. Hulk, I like Rage Hulk. I don't like Baby Talk Hulk. So I'm just saying.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. Let me read the chat a little bit. Comic Book Bob says there are a few scenes where it's pretty obvious, but it's not that bad. The movie is just largely bland, and in all honesty, not because of her. The script literally calls for her to be wooden. Yeah, I mentioned that. Thundaro says enjoy the last hurrahs. After Endgame, everything is changes. Yeah, maybe it'll be good though. It doesn't mean it'll be bad. I'm looking forward. You know what I really want to see, and you know we're going to see it. We're going to get Storm become important because they have the X-Men, and that's a good thing. We love Storm. They just need to
Oh,
get
I
the
thought you were
right
going to say
actress
Quasar
because
maybe.
I'm so silly and cute. Haley Berry is not Storm. The silly little girl they had run around who everyone even forgets who she is in the reboot of it is not Storm. They need a queen. They need a
Angela
leader,
Bassett. They
right?
need Angela Bassett as Storm in her prime.
Yeah, no, you're right. If they cast the right Storm and put her at the front, leading an X-Men, don't do the origins again. Just do X-Men later on, where Storm is a boss and you have the Young Mutants. Go that direction, and have Storm as the head and make her the Xavier, right? And get the right actors to do it. Man, you can have some success on your hands, right?
Oh, like Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna race swap Storm, but hey, you never know.
Well,
Turnabout
why
is fair
not?
play, right?
Yeah, I digress.
Yeah. Comic Book Boss says, I blame the director, writer, more than her. It's like I said, I can watch a movie with a person I don't like. Johnny Depp is a massive douche. Yeah, he's true. But we all like the Pirates movies. No, we don't. We don't all agree on that at all, dude. But I know what you're saying. Yeah, Johnny Depp is a evil human, actually. Comic Book Boss says, does she suck as a person? Yeah. But so does most actors today. True, but she's just not a very good actor. Where Johnny Depp can actually do some pretty amazing performances in the right situation. Uh, Nick W says there's some big issues with the writing, and there's some issues with the plot and some plot holes. The Wolfman 2019. Beowulf, Ant-Man and the Wasp scored 70 on Metacritic, and it was so boring I actually forgot I had seen it till I went to watch it. Captain Marvel has a score of 64. Yeah, no, I think with Ant-Man, if they had just called it the Wasp and made it 100% her movie, it would have been better. Um,
No,
well, I mean, it is a Wasp movie, dude, right?
she's prominent, but it was still it was a team up movie.
No, no, it was absolutely the Wasp, dude. He is an idiot. She's always talking down to him. She's so much more superior than him. She is everything and everything. He is just a moron that stumbles through, luckily having success. That's how they portrayed it. Thundero
Yeah,
says,
it comes down to who is the alpha character in the movie.
yeah,
It was the
it was, and I have no problem with that. Just make a Wasp movie and call it Wasp. I have no problem with that. I think she's a cool Wasp. I like her. But I'm just saying it's stupid. And what they did with the ghost, they needed to work that out. That wasn't thought out well enough. They should have developed the ghost character better and made it something more.
No, it was Miss Pym. Miss Pym coming out and having some sort of evolutionary wacko power that could
Could
fix the ghost
could have
and
done that
stuff.
too.
That
Yeah,
was weird.
yeah, yeah. I mean, well, no, you could have made her the bad guy too. Focused on you get her out in the first half of the movie, you get her out, and then she becomes this big bad you got to deal with. You could have done that. But I like the ghost thing. I think that's cool. They just didn't develop that well enough at all, dude. Um,
Yeah, she was good.
yeah, I think it's cool, but it's just underdeveloped. Thundera says the best hero's journey in the MCU so far has been Thor in Infinity Wars. By the end, I think everyone was hoping Thor would get
Yes.
that purple bitch. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh
Thor,
yes, getting the hammer. You're right.
he's great in the Avengers, right? Yeah, it's true. There is no real
Let me
struggle, man.
challenge you.
Mhm.
Let me challenge you guys for a second and
Yeah,
say what happens if we got Emily Blunt as Captain Marvel and you had to cast Brie Larson as another Marvel superhero.
I had to.
Who would you yes, you have to cast her as some other character in the MCU. Who do you make Brie Larson?
Lockjaw. There you go. Solved. Beowulf says, I think Chester is the only person who doesn't like Elizabeth Olsen as the Scarlet Witch. I don't think that's true at all, dude. I don't have any problem with the girl. I really don't. It's just she's boring, dude. She had zero charisma, man. Uh, Thanos had the best villain struggle so far, for sure. I liked Thanos, but I don't know about a struggle. I mean, okay, all right. Well, Beowulf says Ragnarok took a huge dump. I'm assuming that's supposed to be on one of the best Hulk stories of all time. Yeah, it would have been cool to see Planet Hulk, wouldn't it? Comic Bob says I appreciate Ragnarok for what it was, but I don't like how goofy they made Thor. Hmm. Let's see. Thundera says, I would have had Loki go behind Thor's back to save him instead of them destroying Asgard on purpose. Yeah, I didn't like that. I didn't like the destruction of Mjolnir. The bastards. I shall never forgive Marvel for that. Comic Book Bob, World Breaker Hulk would have kicked the shit out of a one stone Thanos, though. Yeah, but that was a cool scene, though. Come on now. Having Thanos just beat the Hulk down like nothing and give him a complex and immediately was pretty cool. Come on. I love that. All right, I'll come
Nah,
back to the chat later.
that needed to go on for another 10 and 15 seconds where Hulk became more ragey and fought back again, and then he used the Power Stone to power himself up and then defeat the Hulk.
Okay. Okay. That could have been cool too. But I actually didn't mind the Hulk just get it handed to him because it set up a storyline they want to do with the Hulk for one, and two, it really demonstrated what Thanos was. For the general audience, you got to understand we understand Hulk a lot better than the normies do, right? So
Yeah,
I
but
think it was perfect.
no one can go toe to toe with the Hulk, and for Thanos to be able to, he became the villainous Mary Sue in that moment.
I get you. I agree. I agree and I agree. I get you. Okay.
All right.
Let's
Yep.
move on here. Let's see which one I want to do. I want to do this one. Oh goodness, no. No, let's do this one. Go ahead, Danelli. Introduce him. We're gonna let George have a little. Yeah, let's do this one. Go ahead, and we're
Sure.
gonna let George have an intro on this in the beginning. Go ahead, Danelli.
Right.
George dropped out.
Yeah, George dropped out.
Did he? Okay.
Yeah, he ducked out. Invisible Man. Elizabeth Moss teases possibility of gender swapped lead. Tell me, wasn't there an Invisible Woman back?
There was,
Like in
and
the
the best
50s or
part
something.
about it
Yeah.
was, in order for the Invisible Man or woman to be fully invisible, is to take everything off.
Yeah.
So just let your mind go with what we could possibly have if they gender swapped it and did it right.
Well, you know what I've always wanted to see? I've always wanted to see them do the Invisible Man like the book. I mean, really follow
Oh,
the book because they never do, right?
yeah,
It
because
would
he goes
be.
crazy.
It's a much more tragic story than they tend to make it out when they use the Invisible Man in a character somewhere, because it is a very tragic story, which is why it's
Yeah.
so famous and popular. But whatever. I don't really care. I mean, the fact that it's been done in a female before doesn't matter. The reason they're making it female is because, men are stupid, right? It's just same old nonsense, dude.
Yeah, and of course they can't go original, like you said, because of the tragicness, tragic parts about that.
Mhm.
If you let that happen to a woman, of course that would break that stereotype if they're going with the feminist concept, right?
Right. Now, if they didn't and they did follow the book perfectly and just made it a female, that could be interesting.
It would be, yeah.
Yeah. And George left us and Pixel left us. All right, fine.
Then you could have, then you could also have a man that's trying to help her and save her as men might want to do, and yet the more he tries and she spirals down,
Hmm.
then it becomes more a failure on both parts.
Hmm.
That would be interesting to see, and once again, more tragic.
Yeah, now here's an interesting little thing. The Invisible Man was originally slated to be part of its Dark Universe and star Johnny Depp in the title role. However, the project is no longer expected to be part of the shared universe. Okay, we know that all fell apart tragically because they screwed it up. But here's the thing: the Johnny Depp thing was because people were accusing him of doing something to Amber Heard. But we know now very clearly that it's not him; it's her, and we're even seeing talks about her actually possibly getting arrested for her domestic abuse against Johnny Depp. Right, so the tables have turned completely on that. We're actually seeing Amber Heard is probably being dropped out of Aquaman 2. She's not going to be in it because she has legitimate charges coming against her for domestic abuse. She sounds like she's an absolute violent tyrant, right? That likes to
Oh
throw
yeah.
things around, right? And Johnny Depp has been kind of you know justified in a way, or cleared in that. Now, of course, Johnny has done a lot of things in his life that are extremely questionable and troublesome. But as far as the Me Too thing, he's clear of this. Matter of fact, he is the Me Too. Right. So now I'm kind of wondering, seeing as she is on the outs, and like I said, it looks like she's being dropped from Aquaman altogether. Why would Johnny Depp not now absolutely be confirmed to be the Invisible Man? You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. 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 True.
So
Yeah. But yeah, once again though, he has, like you said, he did some things
a
in his
lot of
past
things.
that are troublesome. I believe even in the Sherlock Holmes movie, he was shown doing excessive drug use,
Oh yeah, he's
and
yeah.
people can't get beyond that sometimes.
No, and when he was young, I mean, these days he's more mellow. I mean, he does a lot of things with his band. He's got Alice Cooper in his band, by the way, which is kind of cool. But when he was younger, though, he was absolutely off his nutter, man, because he was hanging out with a guy. I can't think of his name offhand, but that guy is known for extreme drug use, potential child pedophilia, even accusations of actual like making snuff films and murdering people. I mean, this is dark, dark stuff, right? And Johnny
And was
was
it
like
in
his best buddy.
cannibalism? I think he said something about cannibalism and eating
Yes,
children in one of these
yes,
other movies,
yes. I
right?
mean, so this guy he was hung out with is kind of like Aleister Crowley of the modern age, and that guy was I think he's passed away now, but that guy was an absolute monster, and Johnny was his protege. All right, so people don't understand this about Johnny Depp. This guy is way deep, dark, ugly, right? And then of course you have the legitimate accusations about Phoenix, River Phoenix, being murdered by Johnny Depp, right? And of course there's no charges can be brought because there's no way it can be proved. But if you look at the circumstances around the situation, he is the most guilty looking for sure. But even that aside, just the things he's done with, and the supposed things they have done, Johnny Depp is a dark evil human. He's not a good
Yeah,
human at all.
he took an assumed name, I think, of Willie something, and he hurt lots of kids.
Yeah, no, yeah. And Hunter Thompson, there you go. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, I know Crowley's dead. But Hunter Thompson, absolute monster. Really bad human and proud of it, dude. I've seen him on like late night shows talking about his stuff. This dude is a monster. And Johnny Depp was his protege, proud to be, right? So, yeah, Johnny Depp is a very questionable person in my opinion. There's no proof of anything here or there, and that's all well and good. But yeah, I don't support anything Johnny Depp does because of who he is. And that's this doesn't seem to matter to a lot of people, and I understand there's a line, like for instance, Robert Downey Jr. He's a moron that gets up there and speaks the Me Too and the feminist and Orange Man bad nonsense. He does, but I can put his delusions aside and enjoy him as Tony Stark. And of course he has a long drug use problem as well, but that was self-destructive, right? Not destructive toward others. But so I can forgive those things, but there's a certain level of insanity that I'm not going to forgive you for, and I'm not going to support you in any way. And Johnny Depp is on that list. You know what I mean? So maybe I'm just judgmental,
Okay.
but it's my money.
Yeah, it's your money. You can do whatever you like.
Just
with
don't
it.
talk bad about RDJ again.
Okay. All right. Fine. Mox Rocks 1103. That's a cool name. Born October 12th, 1875. Leamington Spa, United Kingdom. Died December 1st, 1947. Hastings, United Kingdom. I think he's talking about Aleister Crowley. Are you talking about Hunter Thompson's Gonzo journalism? No, I'm talking about the man himself. He is accused or suspected of a lot of really dark stuff, because he's one of those. You have this. Now this is more of a talk for tinfoil talk, I think, TFT. But there's a group of people in the world, and they're heavy in. Boy, there's a long conversation. How do I make it short? Um, okay, Kabbalah. A lot of you guys know Kabbalah is a branch of the Jewish religion, and it's a type of mysticism, occultism, right? But Kabbalah is the foundation of many of the occult type of organizations you have today. And one of the kind of main tropes of these occult groups is about embracing the Satan, as it were, whatever that means to you, meaning that humanity should be free to do whatever they want to do. True freedom in action, meaning you can do any evil thing you want. You have to deal with the consequences, but I mean, you are free to do whatever you want to do. And a lot of these
You got
people
40 more
express
words,
that,
Chester.
huh?
You have 40 more words.
I know. But expressing that, a lot of them do really bad things. And that dude is a true believer in that. And he believes in, drugs and killing people and raping children. He talks about it, right? And fear and loathing on fans. But fear and loathing is kind of an example of that thinking, right? We need to have that on a TFT show. But that's some really dark stuff, guys. And it's no joke.
Yeah, it's great for TFT, but we
is.
have probably another news article that's available.
We do. Go ahead, Denelli.
All right. Marvel responds to Avengers Endgame Captain Marvel Backlash. So the article is talking about an interview that Empire had made with Kevin Feige and some of the creative team of the Avengers Endgame, and they kind of mentioned it's like, no, it's not going. She's not going to be there a lot. She's not going to be prominent. It's really the stories about the original Avengers. It's going to be kind of like how Iron Man wasn't, present throughout the movie, like previous stuff. But take it as you will.
Yeah, no, and I've heard this myself through other sources as well. I think that what they do is in their movie they will push the boundaries a little bit, like Captain Marvel and Wakanda, but in the mainline stuff, Avenger stuff, they don't. Right. So I never expected her to be that big a deal. Although I do believe that she's going to be part of the final solution. However they solve the problem, she's definitely going to be part of it. I think there's no way around that. But is she going to overpower everything, and is she going to be the main focus? I don't think so. I doubt it. What do you think?
Yeah. Especially with Kevin saying that, they want to make sure that the original guys get their hurrah moment. They get to avenge the moment, and then of course they're gonna bring in this other little Avenger chick. But I gotta say something too about this this new thing that they've done with her, this
Mhm.
different thing they've done with her, and that's actually what you're showing here.
Mhm.
This is right from her trying to stare down Thor. You know, she's been around the galaxy. I'm gonna give her that. You know, she's been around the galaxy. She understands that there's some bad stuff out there. She's looking at Thor, trying to stare him down, and because like have you small dog? Maybe she's got Napoleon syndrome
Mhm.
because
Maybe.
she's smaller, so she's trying to do that. But anyway, what I noticed here, and you took it away. Did you take it away?
I did.
She's got she's got makeup on,
She
and her
does.
hair's done differently. In the other one, she looks much younger. She looks I don't want to say puffy, but I said the word anyway. And in this one, she's looking more mature. And I'm hoping that the new face that is going to be Captain Marvel moving into the next phase is this version where they're gonna tailor her a little bit more mature, a little bit more like someone who actually does look competent to do what needs to be done.
Maybe. Yeah. You know, one thing that a lot of script writers fail on, and this is across the board. I'm not picking anyone out particularly, but when you're dealing with a character who is centuries old, like Thor, they just
Oh
don't
yeah,
have the ability to write age well. Because, we have to keep in mind, Thor is centuries old, and he is a
oh yeah.
legitimate, god, little g god. And, so therefore, he's going to have a certain mentality that is beyond the years that they usually portray these kind of characters as, and they never get it right. It's very rare to see an old ancient character done right. The most incredible failures you can see are in vampire movies. You're supposed to have this 1,000-year-old vampire that acts like a teenager. I mean, what the hell are you doing, right? They just can't seem to write for it, and
There
this
was
is one of the
one
failures of
line.
Thor.
There's one line in the original Avengers that he says that they are small and petty, and right there is kind of a little bit of him looking down on them as an ancient person with godlike abilities. Of course, he still comes off as arrogant. So I mean, that's just something that he's been trying to work out himself. But if he got past that and stuck with those types of lines, yeah, you're right there.
Yeah,
Age
it's a
changes
plus.
you a lot. I know age has changed me. I'm hoping that Brie Larson herself gets another year or two under her belt. She gets a little age on her, and she realizes what I need to do is just represent this character well and be a real person, which is what we need to see in a lot of places. Just people being regular people.
It would be nice, but she is an extremely self-absorbed person, like a lot of people are these days. And these kind of people don't see the mistakes in themselves. It's always somebody else, dude. It just is the way it is. I mean, and you and I are old enough that we've seen a lot of people in our life with this kind of problem, and you and I both know they don't get better. They get worse until they completely collapse into absolute darkness, and then maybe they'll dig themselves out a better human. But it just is what it is, right?
It is.
Yeah. But nevertheless, I do want to end today's show with a question, and that's the reason why I shut off that and I brought it back to the Hangouts. And this is a question for you guys as well as our chat. Going forward, it has been made very clear by Kevin Feige and several other people that they got to focus on female directors, which is not. I don't even understand why it has to be male or female. It's just a good director. So hopefully there are good female directors they can get a hold of. But they're also going to be concentrating more on the female. Okay, which in and of itself isn't a problem, right? So what I would like to talk about a little bit here is what female characters in Marvel that we have not seen yet within Marvel Studios, to be specific, that we would like to see. Because we're going to get female characters, so let's discuss ones we'd like to have. You know?
Yeah, that's great. That is a good question. Whoa. Well, you've already mentioned
I'm gonna have
Storm,
to
right?
think about. I'm gonna have to think about that because either they're connected to the X-Men and would probably be in that team, or they're connected to Spider-Man in that universe. So I'm trying to think of wholly separate entity that's not connected to a team or cosmic level or minor levels. So I'm kind of drawing a blank right now.
Well, Night
Uh,
Pope says, what the hell? You guys can still hear me, right?
I can
yeah.
hear you. Yeah.
Hmm.
All right, it's reestablished. Oh, that was weird, man. Um, YouTube, goodness gracious. Anyway, She-Hulk. Now, if they did an introduction to She-Hulk and they made her an older lady, I mean, not just somewhere in her 30s, a 30-something lady, and they made her the lawyer, and they went with her, her getting sick and Bruce, making a cameo and trying to help her, and the whole origin story. And they made her struggle of trying to balance her life as the smart Hulk and being a lawyer. That could be a cool story. But we both know that we all know it's going to be teenage angsty She-Hulk, right?
Yep.
So
Um,
you know, in
there's
in
Tigra.
yeah, her story's
You
kinda
gotta love
But
interesting.
Tigra, right?
but
Yeah, I
look at the
know. Yeah.
West Coast Avengers.
Yeah, but see, if we got the original West Coast Adventures, I wouldn't mind that. To be honest with you, I
No,
mean, we joked
but
about the
we're
new one, but
but
even if they made
but
it more, progressive, I think it would be all right.
I mean, mm, mm,
Look at it right now. We're going into phase 4, right?
yeah,
I think West Coast Avengers is really a great way to
I
jump
guess
off over into a
oddity.
different way of seeing phase 4. What's that?
Yeah, no, no. I think if they want to introduce that more progressive thinking, and especially as they kind of jokingly approach the university culture and the kind of goofy things we laugh about. If they do it in a kind of a humorous, interesting way, going West Coast Adventures could be a lot of fun, actually.
Right, because because you get Vision and Scarlet Witch. We already have them, right? So we know them. So
Yeah,
they would be good characters to establish with, and
yeah.
maybe
Hawkeye.
he's the pale, the white, Vision. Then you can bring in Tigra. So you somehow have to introduce this particular character. I'm not sure if we could get a Wonder Man, but come on, Hollywood and Wonder Man.
Yeah, no, I
That
think
seems
they
pretty good.
should. Yeah. And also we saw in the trailer in this upcoming movie, he's training his daughter to be an archer. So we could have the female Hawkeye that is done right. Literally a
If it's
legacy
done right.
character.
Ah, she's so young. She'd be young. And then you got Iron Man. And I think Iron Man at this point that would be a really good time for Tony to be retired and Iron Man to be replaced by someone that he recruits, and it has to be a guy, has to fit the suit, because he wants him to act like he's still Tony Stark, maybe use a vocal thing, so that and people don't really know that it's him or not.
Hmm.
And basically, now you have Iron Man that is a secret identity. So he's always shows up in the suit. He helps people out, and then in his normal life, still has a normal life and has to report back to
Hmm.
Tony Stark. And now you got a hero's journey that Iron Man can go through as a young man trying to establish himself. And there's a secret thing, and the other West Coast Avengers wouldn't know what to do with him.
Hmm.
Um, Going back to your original, that gives us Tigra, gives us She-Hulk. I think
Yeah.
she was part of the.
At one
Was
point.
she part of the West Coast or also
No,
the
she's
regular
part of
Avengers?
the Avengers straight up. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, but we could put her over there. I mean, I think, because a lot of people would cringe at the idea of a California-based Avengers because all the nonsense today. But I think if you actually embraced it 100% and put a little bit of humor as far as the ridiculousness of it while portraying it at the same time, I think that would actually be fun.
And show us some beach, right? Some beach with some beach bodies on it.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, I think that
It's
would be a
always
good idea.
interesting.
And you never know. But I mean, the thing is, though, I mean, come on. They just got the Fantastic Four and X-Men back. They cannot believe that they're not going to be focusing like crazy on that. I can't believe it. I mean, I know we're going to see Doctor Strange 2. That is already, we know that's coming. We're getting Guardians of the Galaxy 3. We'll probably will get a Captain Marvel 2. I mean, it's inevitable now. This has been successful. There's no
Mm,
reason why they wouldn't. But I
right.
know mainly it's going to be X-Men and possibly Fantastic Four. I mean, right?
They might hold off on it because they may want to learn from like Star Wars getting a product rushed in too soon to jump in. They may want to give us some distance away because remember they're releasing Dark Phoenix and they haven't decided about the New Mutants yet. And once those things launch, those are going to be the last impressions that they're going to do. So they might wait to introduce the X-Men. They might bring in Fantastic Four because it's been a whole while ago since the last disaster from Josh Ask director endeavor. But for X-Men, I think they might let it fallow for a couple years.
Yeah,
And then bring him in.
I actually have the opposite feeling. I'm feeling that Fantastic Four will be put on the shelf for a while, and X Men will come right at us because this is the this is the perfect opportunity for them to recast. It's been sent to a new company. Everybody knows it. So getting a new Wolverine, getting all that new stuff is expected, right? It's perfect time to do it. And I think I might introduce it. What I would do, I think, is do the X Force. Do a hardcore, I mean hardcore X Force.
Mm. Hmm.
You know, use the Deadpool you got, put him in there. Use the Cable you got, put him in there. Cast a new Wolverine, et cetera, et cetera, and just go hardcore, brutal X Force with a little bit of light comedy with Deadpool and playing off of Cable and Wolverine, but just go really rough with it.
You cannot have a Phase 4 led by Captain Marvel as the face of it and bring in the X-Men.
Yep.
The X-Men would overpower her greatly.
Well, everybody will overpower her. That's why Captain Marvel has never been a successful character. I mean, let's be fair. Most of the time of this character has been a D-lister. There's been a couple times she's raised to C, maybe, but she's never been a front character. I don't know. I know they're desperate to make her so, but she's just not. She's not interesting enough. There's people with much more interesting situations.
Right.
I mean, they can't do it. And the more they push it on the comic book people, the less they want it.
Yeah.
And I think Kevin Feige would make a huge mistake trying to focus on her, having her in and giving her more movies. I'm gonna go right ahead, but trying to make her everything, that would be a huge mistake, dude.
The original Carol Danvers, of course, was more interesting than the new iteration. And they say that Captain America and they say that Iron Man kind of both, like Captain America is the team leader, but Iron Man was the flagship character. Now they're making Marvel the flagship character. Look at, though, how much Iron Man actually had to do, as being the flagship character, right? We had Doctor Strange, we had Thor, we had Guardians of the Galaxy came around, right? All these characters, they didn't need those flagship characters. Maybe they would pop in, they would kind of help out, or they were always there in the big Avenger movie. But the new characters they bring in, like for instance, we're going to have a Doctor Strange, we're going to have a Spidey. There doesn't have to be a Captain Marvel to cameoing, or maybe she does a cameo, but it's not going to be her movie until it's her movie. Then it comes around to another Avengers movie. Well, and then she'll take kind of a lead role, for the guys.
Well, I actually think the character works a lot better in a team setting. Part of the background of the entire team. I think they would work a lot better. But it's I don't know. We'll have to see where they're going because we truly have no clue what they're going to do. We don't. The only comments that Feige has really made and he's reiterated is they want more female directors and they want more female-led hero movies. And okay, fine. So who are they going to do? She-Hulk, Tigra, Black Cat, these kind of things. But the real juice of it, if you really want to get in Marvel's best female characters, is the X-Men, dude. There's a lot
X-Men has they really do. You could also bring in Alpha Flight. You want to go international, Alpha Flight, or maybe even go with Excalibur. Why can't we see that?
Yeah.
And I have a particular
tonal things in that.
I have a particular favorite of Thundra. Thundra is not a big woman character, but she did have some times where she was in Quasar. I have to say that, of course.
Yes.
And Thundra was a big, almost like she's Wonder Woman. She comes from an Amazon type matriarchal society, in any way.
Yeah,
So
but
I think
how?
it'd
Who
be
would you
interesting.
hire to pull her off, dude? I mean, who in the world is in Hollywood that could play Thundra?
I
Right.
know they already took Brie Larson, right?
Oh goodness gracious! I mean, because you need a big old thick girl. You need a real powerful lady,
Yeah.
and there are some. But can they act as well? I mean, you know,
Right, right,
Yeah.
right.
I'd love to see it, but
But
I don't
we're
think
over
so.
the
Because
limit.
yeah, well, I know we are. But
Yeah.
She-Hulk, of course, is doable because the She-Hulk will be CG'd, and you can hire any actress because she's just a normal lady, right? She's just a lady who becomes
Hmm.
She-Hulk, so it doesn't matter in that case. Thundra, although I think it would be really cool, yeah, you know what I would love to see them do properly would be the Runaways, but they won't because they've already screwed that up. But I don't know.
Oh yeah.
It's a
Well,
good question.
and maybe bringing in, and I know they had kind of the Mockingbird character in Agents of Shield,
It was
but someone
okay.
like Mockingbird to take over where Black Widow may or may not be around, and maybe to help like team up with Black Widow or something.
Yeah, the Mockingbird character in Agents of Shield, it wasn't that bad. She was just too bitchy. The problem is they can't seem to be able to have a strong woman who's not bitchy. And it's like,
Oh, yeah.
change it up a little bit, please, right? I mean,
Right,
because
right.
whatever. Anyway, we've beaten this to death. The woman from Deadpool, the one that fights Colossus. Oh, that lady. Yeah, 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 yeah. There's a couple in there, but there are choices, and like we're saying, if you want more female characters, the real plethora of choice is coming from the X-Men, like coming from mutants, right? So anyway,
Yeah. Let me end off with two different things to one to scare you and one to make you excited. Actually, I might have those flipped around backwards because the first one is I had the thought today that with most of the Guardians out
hmm
in Endgame, you don't have Guardians, particularly Peter Quill, in order to play the great music that we love to hear when we see the Guardians of the Galaxy come on screen. Now, the good part about this is Rocket has gotten used to that type of music, and he made a request for some of that in one of the other movies. Hopefully, Rocket will be requesting some great music being pumped out of the Iron Man suit by Tony Stark, so we can get some great music like we like to hear out of Guardians of the Galaxy.
yeah,
The next one is Tales from Beyond the Gate
hmm
has had a update. I'm not sure if you guys have been paying attention to the Twitters out there, but
sweet.
there's been an update to the Indiegogo page for that because we've got another artist involved, Pedro
Yeah, Pedro, awesome.
Laura. So Pedro Laura is now he's got credit up there on the Indiegogo page, and on the updates section, there's also some great artwork by Jay Potts on another one of the stories that is involved in the book. So go over there, check out Tales from Beyond the Gate on Indiegogo, look at the new update, look at the great artwork, and get yourself an eyeful.
Yeah, no, Pedro is amazing. I really like it. He's from Costa Rica, and I've been working with him on our story that we're doing together, La Llorona, and we've got a really good twist on the story because Llorona is a very well-known character, of course, ghost story, especially here in the Americas. And but I have nothing but praise to put on Pedro. He's a really good artist, but more importantly, he's very focused and involved. We have constant updates almost day to day, interacting about the script, about how this looks. Just the process has been absolutely amazing with Pedro, and I'm very happy to have worked with him.
That's great to hear.
Yeah, yeah. So anyway, guys, thank you very much. Definitely check out Tales from Beyond the Gate over on Indiegogo. Of course, you can get there through Indicron. We also have George's Joking. We have Brad's Handyman. There's a whole bunch of stuff out. Just go check out Indicron and delve into that and experience some of the really cool projects that are coming out. And please, continue giving us your support. We really appreciate it, and we want to see this project successful. Tales from Beyond the Gate is, as you see up here in the link from Crypto Comics, it is 150 pages, but actually it's over 160 now. And we haven't even got to a stretch goal that would let us do a sketchbook or any of those other things. So who knows how big that thing is going to be. But unfortunately, because it's so large, we had to go with a higher, number, to get. We couldn't. Most people could do that 5 or 6 thousand and get out a normal size book. But this thing
Oh
is
yeah, for printing.
enormous. So printing, yeah.
Yeah.
So we needed the 10 grand. We had to do that to be able to get it done. So we really need help pushing that. We really want to get that up to that 10 grand. Of course, we'd like to go beyond that too, but at least we want to get this thing printed because it's some really cool ideas, some amazing art, and we want to see this book in everyone's hands. So it really introduce you to these amazing talent that is involved with this project. So we thank you very much for all your involvement, your help, and interaction. And like if you can't back it or if you've already backed it, help us out by just simply sharing it out. Right? Send it out to your Twitters and your Facebook and various DMs, and let people know about it. Get them over there to look at it because we really need the help. And thank you guys very much for all your involvement. But other than that, Denali, take us out, man.
All right. Well, everybody, thank you for joining us for Comics News today. Join us for tomorrow for Bugs Bear's Basement. But as always, your perception shapes your reality. So always make it a good one.
Namaste.
Namaste.
And Zoom type.
Later, guys.
Aloha.